Hello, YouTube. I was browsing the internet today and yesterday and basically every day, and the topic of abortion came up in like the comments of I don't know YouTube, Reddit, who knows? Like I look at the internet a lot. It could be from a tons and tons of places, but the point is, I saw the topic and I started to think about it. I started using my brain. I like to think about things a lot, and I realized that I don't think people are really putting as much thought into this as they maybe should be. So I went and I tried doing the topic justice, walking through it. I talked to some people that I know, bouncing ideas, right? Having a nice civil discussion. And I wanted to give my 2 cents because I feel like there's some wisdom in here that I gotta let out to the world. So, okay, first, I'm just gonna walk through all the arguments that I've kind of heard people talk about and what people's thoughts are, and I just kind of want to address them first and foremost. So, starting off, there's this one that I heard like, oh, well, if the child, fetus, baby has a heartbeat, that means they're alive, and we want to be pro life. So, now, this kind of makes sense, right? We want to protect life. We care about it. It's a living thing with a heartbeat, right? That sounds like a big deal. Like, oh my gosh, I have a heartbeat. That has a heartbeat. I gotta save it. But the thing is, with this argument is, they always want to save this human life, right? But like pro life, I think there should be a little specific here because we're not really pro life, not like life in general. They're just pro human life, which is very different. For example, we wouldn't save like an insect which is alive, an animal, living, breathing, like we eat pigs, cows, chickens all the time. We don't really care about those. So it's not necessarily pro life. That's a nitpicky distinction, and it's not really the point. The point is they're pro human life, and the heartbeat argument kind of dumb in my head because if you think about it, now this is gonna sound a little ridiculous, but this is just breaking down like what people are saying. So like it has a heartbeat, so therefore should be saved. I just don't know. Like worms, they got 3 hearts, and ain't nobody caring about worms out there. I don't see anyone saying like, no, we have to save the worms. Don't step on the worms. We gotta protect the soil. Watch out. No one go kill any worms. This just sounds ridiculous. But wait, they got 3 hearts. That means they're 3 times as more important, right? They have 3 heartbeats. It's just you see why that doesn't make any sense. Like just because it has a heartbeat doesn't mean squat diddly. Like tons of things have heartbeats that we don't care about. you know, even if it just it even if even if we like for some reason, whatever reason, cared about heartbeats or something like that, but we wouldn't even like go out of our way. We wouldn't go out of our way. Like even if we did care about worms because they had heartbeats, is a crazy thing. We wouldn't go out of our way to save them. This is what I mean. Sure, we would avoid like stepping on them, but like if a worm was causing like I don't know like hundreds of thousands of property damage or whatever scenario, like if it was really costing us to keep these worms alive, we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it. I don't care how much we care about worms. We're not going to do that. I don't think we should do that either. This just sounds ridiculous. This is just me extending the analogy here. But like having a baby, that that is like life ending. This leads me to my next point. Like, what do we care more about? Like this baby's life. Well, this fetus's could be life, or like the life of the parent. Like these people who are getting abortions, they're like in cases where they can't really afford to like take care of a baby. There's just so many different factors that could people don't just have abortions just cuz. And even if that was the case, then maybe there needs to be specific rulings on it. Like what if you're raped? I don't think I don't really think that should be I don't think you should be able to deny an abortion to someone who's just been raped. Like that it's just ridiculous to me. It's crazy. And so I might be bouncing around everything in this video. I just might be bouncing around topics, just talking about whatever comes in my mind, just so you know. Which brings me to my next point. This is another argument. So, from the outset, I already sound like I'm a pro choice kind of person, right? I care about people being able to choose to have an abortion. In the same way, I don't like this pro life argument, right? I don't really like this pro choice argument either. Crazy, right? I'm not on one side or the other. What's going on? Just so you know, I am actually pro choice. Like, I support abortion. If someone wants to go get an abortion, they can go do it. That's their life. But the argument for pro choice, like this choose, like you have the choice, I don't really necessarily like that. I don't think it's, if you really break it down, I don't think if it makes too much sense. Let me tell you about it. So the idea is that abortion is kind of like this evil. This is evil because you're killing a life, right? And so people are saying, well, you should be able to choose to have your abortion. It's people's own lives. They can decide whether or not what they want to do with their you know bodies and whatever. The problem with this pro-choice idea is this you should be able to choose is just that, like, think about if we extend that to other things, like ethically what that would imply, like murder, for example. This is going to sound a little ridiculous and a little crazy, but think about murder. If one day someone was like, no, murder should be legal because people should be able to choose if they want to kill people, like, don't mind your own business. If someone if someone's going to go out and kill, like, your neighbor, or maybe not your neighbor, but someone on the other side of the planet, who cares? you or if someone's gonna go commit a murder, they're gonna go serial killer mode. Hey, if it ain't happened to you, that's their own life. And they should be able to choose that. Like, keep to yourself, mind your own business. Whoa, whoa, whoa! A lot of red alarms going off over there, right? That does not seem okay. But I just use the exact same argument that people should have the right to choose. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, it's very different there, incredibly different, because people should, it's like one is murder and the other is killing a fetus, which isn't really a baby, which is, who knows, still developing. Well, to people who, believe that the baby's, live or whatever, people who believe that the fetus is a person, which is the whole issue here, is that they think that it's a person, like a fully, they have all the same, like, in the same way that you wouldn't kill a person, an individual walking out in the streets, you wouldn't kill this person inside of you. Thing is, people believe that it is murder. You're murdering someone. This is the exact same thing there. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is, you're not going to kill someone like an adult or even a child or anything of the sort. So, but the difference is that this is like a fetus. This isn't really a person. Is it a person? I think people got this argument all wrong. People got this argument all wrong. Like, they're looking at the wrong place. Honestly, in my opinion, there are all these people, like, saying you should be able to choose. You should be able to, oh, it's wrong. Blah, blah, blah. Well, like, why? Why is it wrong? It's a person, right? So, here's the thing. So, like, there's this idea that, oh, well, I guess maybe this is an argument you've heard somewhere. Maybe, I don't know, but this is an idea. I can imagine someone saying this. Like, think about the potential that life has. Well, that's the thing. This baby fetus could grow up to be maybe the next Albert Einstein. That's the idea there. Would you really kill Albert Einstein if he was a baby? Think about how much he could be. But, like, the baby could also turn into Hitler, and you've already heard the kill baby Hitler argument. My point is, we don't know what's going on here. This could be like the best person who's going to develop or the worst person. We don't know. Life is crazy. You can't predict that thing. And if this person's gonna have an abortion, they're probably not in a good place in life, which means they're probably not gonna have an Einstein. Probably gonna, who knows? Child development, if they're not, because I feel like that's besides the point. That's the point. I'm getting sidetracked. My point is that we don't know the potential of this baby. You could be worst person or best person. So that I think is just outside the window. Like we shouldn't really even care about that. The next point is okay, well, it will be a person eventually, and we care about people, therefore we should protect it, right? The idea is that one day it could be an adult human, and we wouldn't kill that. So, but like that doesn't really make any sense either because think about it. Well, sperm has the potential to be a person in the same way that a fetus does. It has the same, it's just not as far along on the journey, on the trip to becoming an individual, a live, human. The difference, that's the only difference, is that it's just further back on this track. But we don't care about that. There's no like we gotta save the sperm. You're killing thousands. Like like how many genocides have happened just from people just not caring about sperm. We don't think about it like that though. We don't, and so that's the thing. So then it goes to well, it's a fetus. It's closer to being a person, and it's got all these things like a heartbeat and a developing brain and all this whatnot. Smish mush, the argument. I already said the heartbeat thing. I don't think heartbeat matters. We don't care about heartbeats. Heartbeats aren't like a sign of like like you got a soul once you have a heartbeat because tons of things have heartbeats and we don't really give a care about that. Brain though, brain is different because brain is probably where we get our consciousness from. Our brain is responsible for everything people experience and if anything, that's the thing, intelligent life. We don't care about any life. We care about intelligent life a lot. Like people, that's intelligent life. You, me, everyone. This baby though. Now the question is it like intelligent? Like, babies of course aren't as smart as us, but we wouldn't kill a baby. This fetus is the same. Like, the idea is, well, think about it. If we could kill fetuses or just babies in the stomach, well, what's the difference in killing it in real life? Like suddenly when it's born out of the womb, like now it's just diplomatic community, it's a real person. Is that like the distinction there? I don't think that's it. I don't know what point this the ethical thing is, but I don't know if heartbeat is where I draw the line because brain I think is more important. Brain, I don't know what point in the baby's cycle of development, this fetus's cycle of development, you know, but like probably where the brain, becomes all boolin and bopping. I think that's like the solid. Woo woo woo! I think we should stop right there. I'm pretty sure I took a baby development class in high school, and so I kind of have a general idea, and I'm pretty sure that's the last thing that develops. Look, I should also preface this by saying that I'm no rocket science. I'm not like a baby expert. I'm not like a fetus master. I'm not a scientist. This is just my thoughts. And I'm acting on the knowledge that I have. Knowledge I have may be wrong. I don't know. I'm just a person. I'm just telling you my thoughts. If I'm wrong, hey, go ahead and tell me immediately ASAP. Last thing I'd want to do is just throw my polluted thoughts into the world. But that's the thing. Until I know that maybe there's a flaw or something wrong in what I'm saying, I'm just gonna believe it. So I'd love to know if there's any misconceptions that I'm throwing out there, or if maybe there's a flaw in my argument. I love thinking about these kind of things just from like a philosophical, ethical standpoint. So back to my point, the brain developing. Whoa, okay, that's maybe where I draw the line because we care about big brains, obviously, but it's like but beyond that point, beyond like the brain developing, I don't know if this thing is like really feeling anything. Like I think that's why we don't care really about sperm because it's like it doesn't feel anything. It doesn't think. It's not really conscious. Therefore, it doesn't matter, which makes sense. Like So it's the same thing until this baby has like enough brain power in it to really motivate. Because think about it. Think about it. Like, we don't care about insects. Obviously, I already explained that one with the worm. We don't care about insects. They got heart. They're alive, right? But we care about this fetus more. All right. I know what you're thinking. Well, insects, that's an insect, right? We don't care about like animals that aren't like dogs or cats. We don't care about cows. We eat cows. Baby baby cows, old cows, all cows. We eat them. Pigs, we eat pigs. Pigs are really smart animals. I heard that pigs are, little animal geniuses. Rats, we don't care about rats, and rats are like really freaking smart or something. My point is there's no animal that isn't, Homo sapien that we don't care about them like we care about us. And that's really the only reason. That's really the only reason that we care about this fetus is because it could be one of us. But it's really like nothing more than just like this animal. It's like got the same brain power, you know, like all everything is the same. It's like it may as well be an animal inside of us. Till one day, boom, pops out. It's a person. The difference is none. The only difference is that one day it will pop out and be a person. That's the only difference. And the fact that it's actually, like a fetus human. My point is like that's the only reason. It's not even because of the potential, because like I said, we don't know where that thing is gonna go. It could go good or bad, so that's not a real argument. Ethically, would we? Is it bad? I don't. It really depends on the situation, honestly. If you can't afford this thing, like if you can't afford a baby to have a baby, if you can't, like, I don't, you're broke, single mom. I don't know what your situation is. Then, as far as I see it, we're taking away one life just to make another one that isn't really living. Like you're in poverty and you're gonna have a baby. You can't afford the baby. Then it's like sure we're getting a life, but the life's not really even really living. It's like half living. It's like not really alive. It's just barely surviving. Not only that, but it's also making the mom barely surviving too. Now there's two people barely surviving. That doesn't necessarily mean I think that everyone who's in poverty should have an abortion, or everyone who's in this tough scenario should have an abortion. I just don't think that it should be forced on them. I don't think it should be forced. I honestly do not believe that it should be forced on them. And that's kind of like the issue here, is that it's like you are forcing these people to just kind of, and I know what you're saying, well, put it up for adoption, right? But like, why do people care so much about adoption? Like, people don't care about adoption, or else they'd adopt, or I don't know, don't donate to a foster house. I don't know, they do something. Hey, you want this baby so badly? Like, this is crazy to me. People are always like, oh well, just have the baby and adopt it, or just go give it up to adoption. Like, you care about this baby so much, you wouldn't adopt it though. You wouldn't. You just care that it's like a like principle. There's no reason behind it. It's just principle. Some strange principle that comes from nowhere. Oh well, I know where it comes from, but I'm not even gonna come close to that subject. But my point is, like, these people care about this, like, these unborn babies so much until they're born and not aborted. The second that happens, they're like, we don't care as long as it's alive, let it live its life. Like, what? Hello? Like, they're just saying things just to say it. They're not acting on their own principles, which are set up. What I mean by this is, say, all right, you don't like abortions, right? You're just like, oh, well, just have a baby and put it up for adoption. Just go ahead, just do it. Because, it's so simple. Isn't it so easy just to give up your own child? Like, our adoption, our foster care system, I feel like I've heard that it's not very good. Heard that it's kind of flooded and there's so many problems. We don't want to add to that. We don't want to add to it. If you want that baby alive so much, why don't you go out and adopt it yourself? People won't do that though. They're not going to. They don't care. They don't care enough about this adoption thing until they actually find out they need to do something. Like, I kid you not. if it was that, you know, okay, abortions are banned. Maybe what if this was the law, right? If it was like, oh, abortions are banned, but if you are pro-abortion, my fault. Yeah, if your abortions are banned, but if you're pro-abortion, pro-life or whatever, you have to adopt a baby. You gotta adopt one of those babies. People will be like, oh, never mind, never mind. I don't really want that anymore. Yeah, people would just change their minds instantly, which is so backwards to me. Like, hey, I bet you 100% those people who are pro-choice, they're definitely gonna, they're gonna have their abortion. That's kind of the whole point, Hey, at least they're sticking to their principles. Or it's not even pro pro having abortions. It's having the choice to choose. That's the whole idea here. So like, if even if they didn't choose to have an even if they didn't choose to have an abortion, they're still standing by their principles. That's the thing. The other people though, other side, pro life, they're just like, let's just, they don't stand by their words. They don't. Maybe some of them do, but most of them don't. I'm telling you, if we were like, okay, abortions are banned, but every one of you who thinks abortion should be banned has to adopt a child. They're not. They're not supporting it anymore. If that was the agreement, no, that's not happening. It is not happening. 100%. I think I like touched on all the subjects that I really wanted to touch on. I like, as far as I'm concerned, those are just like my thoughts on the issue. Like, if there's something wrong with the way I'm thinking about this, or there's some information I don't know about it, I'd love to hear. I'm just trying to find the truth here. I'm just acting on my knowledge. I know that also a ton of people are just kind of religious, and they're like, well, God says this is bad, and the Bible says to do this or that. And I myself, I'm a religious person. I'm not the most religious. I go to church and, you know, do the good old shing dingles and stuff. And my family's all Christians, so I can understand where they're coming from. But the thing is like, there's no argument to be had there. Is is the thing. I don't. Well, what am I gonna say? Like, don't believe the Bible. Don't be religious. Like, it's like a whole different discussion. Is my point. Like, there's so much more there to even discuss. That's it. Like, I have a lot of ideas there too. I've been thinking about that a lot as well. And as far as I'm concerned, that's just a big old can of worms that I ain't trying to open up in this video. So, if you like the video, like the video. You want to subscribe? Go ahead, subscribe. Uh, See you later, alligators. Take care.